And hi again, everyone. Jim Knox back with another edition of the Best Docs Network featuring Forest Park Medical Center Southlake in Fort Worth, the top medical center in the entire Tarrant County. From staff to surgeons to technology and technique, Forest Park Medical Center has brought together the best of the best. And speaking of the best, we'll start with our first doctor who operates right here at a beautiful Forest Park Medical Center. That is pain management specialist, Dr. Asad Khan.
I woke up one Thursday morning and had some back pain and thought, okay, this isn't good, but I can live with it. Next day, Friday, I woke up and I could barely walk. I was like, I need a spine doctor quick because I'm going on an international trip next week and I need to find relief.
She came to me basically with severe low back pain with pain radiating down both legs. And she was in so much pain where she couldn't even walk properly. She was very tearful when she came to me because of this pain that she was having. And this is very common with patients that have acutely herniated discs. When I looked at her and I saw that she was suffering, I had sent her for an MRI right here at Forest Park. And fortunately, they were able to expedite things and get her in for that MRI. And we had one of our staff members wheel her to the MRI area and have the actual MRI performed.
He called me on the phone that Monday morning and said, yeah, you have a protruding disc at your L5-S1 and it needs to be, you know, the best course of treatment would be to have these epidural injections. That will get you, you know, the relief quick.
We inject local anesthetic and an anti-inflammatory into the epidural space, and that helps decrease the irritation of the nerve root that is caused by the bulging disc, as well as help with the healing process of the disc that is protruding or herniated. So this acutely decreases the irritation and helps significantly with the pain that the patient is feeling.
The procedure itself was easy. I came in for, I think, 11 o'clock appointment. I was going to be put under anesthesia because the idea of needles, I guess, freaks me out. I couldn't imagine having 2 spinal injections, but it was easy. The staff was very nice, and it was over quickly.
She was due to go to Ireland, where she would be doing a lot of sightseeing and walking, and this could have really almost kept her from going on this trip that she had planned for many months now. And fortunately for her, she did really well with the epidural injection. The next day she was feeling great. She gave me a call and she was very excited that she'd be able to go on her trip, and she was able to do that.
Today I feel great. I feel like 100% better than I did 2 weeks ago, and it's unbelievable.
Veronica has a question for Dr. Philip Swanson. How do I know which bariatric surgery is right for me?
Most people choose between the sleeve and the bypass. In choosing between those two, I think the considerations are, if someone has significant diabetes, there's evidence that the bypass will treat their diabetes more effectively than the sleeve. The other consideration is reflux. If someone has significant reflux, in the bypass you eliminate the valve at the end of the stomach where it's still present in the sleeve, so they can still have trouble with reflux. So it's better for reflux if you do a bypass.
Best Docs Network featuring Forest Park Medical Center. Welcome to the 21st century of cutting-edge medicine. Forest Park Medical Center. For more information about Forest Park Medical Center Southlake in Fort Worth, your destination to better health, head to the website bestdocsnetwork.com and click on that Forest Park Medical Center tab. Now to our next inspirational story. It involves a young girl named Mia who Dr. Bob Peters here out of Forest Park Medical Center helped hear for the very first time.
Well, we are from Bolivia. I came 2.5 years ago. My father and my mother, they started to seeing something strange with my baby girl.
I think the very first time that I noticed, and I was the one that really noticed it, there may be an issue, was when I first held her in Bolivia. She was just a few weeks old. I just noted that she didn't appear to be responding to noise and sounds around.
was thinking that she was okay, that nothing was wrong. Maybe she's distracting. I don't know. When they told us that she wasn't listening, it was hard because I want she can listen to me or she can listen herself. So sometimes it's frustrating that you talk to the baby or you want to teach her something and you can because she cannot listen.
Well, we first contacted Dr. Peters in Dallas Hearing Institute. Then we knew that he was the president of the foundation, of Dallas Hearing Foundation. And we talked to him, and they started looking for a device for Mia. And I'm glad that they found the right one. And hopefully, and it got help, that's gonna work good. It's gonna work good.
Med-El, along with the Dallas Hearing Foundation, we share a commitment to the hearing loss community. And when the Dallas Hearing Foundation approached Med-El, we thought this was an ideal situation to kind of help out a family. And so we put them into our grant process. And as the patient goes through the grant process, Mia and her family were approved.
Mia was born with profound hearing loss, and that means that hearing aids were not able to give her enough hearing. So the only way she would gain adequate hearing in order to develop speech and language, oral language, would be to have a cochlear implant. So today we placed a surgical implant that is meant to stimulate the hearing nerves that are there but just not working, and it will stimulate those nerves and produce for her a sense of hearing. We test the implant and determine during surgery that she is responding to the implant. We actually do not turn it on for 3 weeks. We want to let her incision heal. So we won't turn it on for 3 weeks. So she's just going to have like any typical ear surgery, have some recovery time and some discomfort. But 3 weeks from now is when we'll bring them back to our office and actually activate the implant.
Wow, for her it's gonna be a big difference. From not hearing to hearing is big change. She was living happy without hearing, and now hearing she's gonna be happier. That's why we're here. That's why we're in America, in Dallas, in this big hospital, good hospital, and with the best devices that she can get.
Thank you, Dallas Hearing Center. Thank you for Spark Medical Center. Thank you, Dr. Peters. Thank you, Linda, Debbie, all of them.
Stay tuned for the conclusion of Mia's inspirational story a little bit later on in the show.
Courtney is a classic revision breast augmentation case that had a series of failed operations.
Sometimes it could be painful, especially lying down. Not wearing a bra was not an option for me. I would even sleep in a bra 24 hours a day, always wore underwire.
The planning was intact. It's her tissues that were just structurally not sound. And if you need to reinforce tissues, then using this product will completely change her outcome.
With Dr. Meade, he was very confident, he was very kind. This has obviously been something that's been very self-conscious for me. So I felt very comfortable in talking about the issues with him. I felt confident that he knew what he was doing, that he had experience in doing this. And even after my consultation, his office staff was wonderful in trying to accommodate everything and make sure that this surgery could be possible for me.
It's almost like a push-up bra that you can't see in there. So at this point, I've figured out, I think, right where it needs to sit. I've been very happy with those results. In Courtney's case, it was a home run. I mean, the problems that she came to me with, although previously would have been problems where I might have just turned the patient away and said, I can't help you, I don't have the skills needed for this. With the problem list that she came, I knew I just check marked each one down the line. I thought, we can fix this.
I'm still in recovery somewhat, so I have to be a little bit careful, but I'm back to running. I can stand up and feel comfortable, and not only has my self-esteem drastically improved, but I feel like I'll actually be able to do things like a normal person.
With this product, I can reposition the breast implants, and that's an opportunity for her to change out her breast implants. Maybe she did saline, wants to switch to silicone.
The first time I actually saw the finished results and I took the bra off, I couldn't be happier. I was just ecstatic, and this procedure has drastically improved my lifestyle. I'm much more comfortable. My self-esteem has improved, and I couldn't feel better.
About 4 months ago, I had a gastric bypass. I was obese and having a lot of chronic issues like diabetes. 5 days later, after having the gastric bypass, I was no longer diabetic. I was not dependent on insulin or metformin or any of the other auxiliary drugs that are prescribed. No longer, and it feels good.
She's been doing really well. She came in today talking about dress sizes and how she's having a hard time adjusting to the fact that she's down to about a 16.
I have in mind what my size is, but the mirror and the clothes say something totally different. I went shopping a few weeks ago and I got 4 size 16 dresses. 4. I have not seen a size 16 in over 10 years.
It's kind of like you're on a journey and you're trying to get from point A to point B. And if you have a map, you can get there. But if you're just kind of wandering around, you may get there, you may not. So if you pay attention to what you're doing and you know what the facts are, then you can make changes.
90% has been me, but Dr. Swanson's been there every step of the way. Even though I may not have a scheduled appointment, I'm welcome here to come and see him anytime. That support is there. I can call anytime.
People come back real regularly and I talk to them. I think it's important to maintain that connection, to have the guy that you believe in, the surgeon who's doing your procedure, who knows about it, who knows the most about it, being in contact with you.
So far in my journey, I have lost close to 50 pounds. And as I continue, I hope to lose a total of 120, maybe 125.
We do the surgery, it's almost like pushing the restart button. We give people a second chance.
Forest Park Medical Center is all about giving back, not only in their community, but around the world, as we see as Dr. Ihde makes a trip to Haiti.
In 2010, Haiti suffered a big earthquake. I think it was 7.0 on the Richter scale. And it was devastating for a couple of reasons. It's the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, and the infrastructure is really poor. The buildings don't have codes for earthquakes or anything like that. So when the earthquake hit, everything just fell apart. And then being economically poor, they really don't have the infrastructure to respond to any kind of emergency like that. They don't have ambulances and fire trucks. They don't have construction equipment all over the place. So it was very difficult for them to respond to that. So one of the first responders, if you will, to the situation was a medical team from Forest Park Medical Center. They went down to provide medical assistance in evacuating people, triaging people, and of course providing treatment, bringing doctors and nurses and supplies and equipment. That, in conjunction with one of the charities down there, turned into a regular visit where with Sacré-Cœur, which is the hospital down there, we would send a team and participate in surgeries on a regular basis. They would get patients that needed surgery ready. When the team arrived, they'd spend a week basically operating day and night to treat the cases that otherwise would have been too complex to treat in Haiti. So in the United States, we have a very robust system. It's very refined. There's safety protocols everywhere. Everything's disposable, so nothing gets reused. But in Haiti, it's the polar opposite. You're operating in a hospital that's an open air hospital. There's no air conditioning. The one air conditioner that is in the hospital is in the operative suite because under gowns and stuff it gets very hot. But it's a window air conditioner. The air's not filled. The instrumentation is very basic from the 1960s. Everything that they have is something that's been designated from a first world country. Well, this is a great opportunity to do what doctors really want to do. I mean, this is why you become a physician, because you have this overwhelming compassion. Anytime you see somebody that is hurting or is sick or is in pain, you want to help them, no matter what it takes. I mean, sometimes it becomes a downfall, but in this situation, you're able to go to a country and really give them something that they really never had access to. And in 100 years, they probably wouldn't get to it because it's such an economically poor country. I mean, when you go there, you see it's open sewer systems, the water they get out of the mountainside basically running down, and who knows whether it's clean or not. Again, the infrastructure is terrible. The buildings are half completed. There's no disposal system. Trash is everywhere, and it may not have been like that before the earthquake, but certainly it is now. They have basically paralyzed all the infrastructure to the entire country. We're able to go in there and just help with those situations, using the expertise that we have. Well, Forest Park has really been, I think, a leader in helping out. When this disaster occurred, of course, there were other hospitals that sent back teams, and there are other hospitals around the United States that sends teams as well. But in the Metroplex, Forest Park has been the one that's routinely gone back to help out, to bring supplies, to lean on our vendors who have been very helpful in when we upgrade our equipment, for instance, we can take that and use that for the Haiti missions. It's shown a remarkable sense of leadership and a remarkable sense of the responsibility that it is to be in the healthcare field for Forest Park to go down there and participate the way they have, not just initially, but on a regular basis.
Did you know that Forest Park Medical Centers are designed and constructed to meet or exceed the standards of the U.S. Green Building Council's Leadership in Energy Environmental Design LEED program? The purpose of LEED is to reduce energy and resource consumption, minimize environmental impact, and provide healthier, more connected buildings. Throughout the building and grounds, you will see signs which highlight Forest Park's sustainable efforts. Terry has a question for Dr. Asad Khan. How do steroids work to treat my pain?
So steroids work by decreasing inflammation. They decrease inflammatory marker release, and basically what that does is it decreases inflammation wherever there is an inflammatory response happening. So patients that come in that have neck pain, back pain, or any kind of pain whatsoever, they have an increase in inflammation wherever their pain is. Many times patients that have herniated discs, they have an acute irritation of a nerve root, and that is what's causing them pain, is that inflammation. So what steroid does is that it locally decreases that inflammatory response and decreases pain.
Fast Docs Network featuring Forest Park Medical Center. Forest Park Medical Center, extraordinary in every way. Now to the conclusion of Mia's inspirational story, who Forest Park Medical Center Dr. Bob Peters helped her hear for the very first time. Not long ago at Forest Park Medical Center, Mia had surgery to help her hear. Now let's watch Mia hear for the very first time.
Well, today Mia is gonna get her cochlear implant, the activation, and she will start hearing. She will start hearing today, and we're very happy about it.
We were shaken and too excited for everything today. I know it wasn't like a huge thing, but for her it was something different.
Now the device is attached, and within a few moments you see responses from Mia that you've never seen. You know, you can tell something new is happening. She would have never been able to hear, and now she can and will. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
She was happy, jumping and running, and it looked like she doesn't have anything there.
And we were so excited and so worried about her for not dropping the device. But she will do it, and we know. So we just want the best for her.
It has been a journey, and a long and a short one at the same time. Waiting, praying, wishing, and some days losing the hope.
It's an amazing journey, and now it's just begun.
It's going to take some time for her to start to process. It's all about the brain processing information. It's going to take her time to realize, oh, that was the door knock, that was the doorbell, that's mommy's phone, that's mommy's voice, that's daddy's voice. It's going to all take time, just like a normal hearing infant. A normal hearing infant is born hearing perfectly, but they don't understand. Maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months, they start to respond to their name. They might start to respond to the dog's name. So she has to go through the same developmental stages of hearing and learning to talk that a normal child goes through. And that takes months and years.
It's gonna be a real challenge for us, but we are going to practice and we are going to help her and teach her.
There is no way to say thank you enough. There's no way to repay it other than we will be your ambassador, I can tell you that, and we'll try to make the best out of it for Mia and watch her develop, and we're just so thankful.
Everyone is changing her life. It's a new beginning for her. It's like a newborn, but now she can really start to listen and changing that part in her life.
My primary care doctor was giving me a prescription and basically told me that this was the beginning of my end. My health would deteriorate at the rate I was going. I was pushing 275. That really hit home. A friend of mine at the orthodontist office told me about what she was doing and having gastric bypass surgery with Dr. Matin. I talked to my primary care doctor and asked if he would think this would be a good option for me, and he said yes.
One of the unique things about gastric bypass is the ability to change some of the metabolism. Metabolic changes that occur with gastric bypass have really been kind of looked at very closely in the last 5 to 6 years. There are significant changes in some of those metabolic issues with gastric bypass. The most common one that's in the news is diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes can be very quickly controlled with a gastric bypass. Kind of a unique situation. That's why sometimes you have to look at a person's medical condition and say, okay, you know, your diabetes is really more risky than your weight, and say maybe gastric bypass is a better operation for you than a gastric sleeve.
Speaking with Dr. Matin about the surgery, he recommended the gastric bypass surgery. He said I would be a great candidate. And he just overall made me feel very comfortable in that decision. And I knew he's got all the experience, he has all the education, so I trusted him recommending the gastric bypass surgery.
Joanne did really well, very good outcome. She chose her surgery based on her medical conditions. She spent a significant amount of time kind of going through the educational process with the dietitian and kind of learning throughout other patients' experiences what she was getting into. So expectations have been great. She's doing very well.
I have lost 119 pounds after my gastric bypass surgery. It's been about a year and a half. I'm feeling great. I was stuck in a shell with my weight, and now I'm free. I'm happy and just, I love my life.
Did you know that in 2011, Forest Park Medical Center was voted as one of the top 20 most beautiful hospitals in the United States? Also, Forest Park Medical Centers were the only hospital in Texas to make this prestigious list.
Colon cancer is a common disease that afflicts several thousand of people in this country, in the order of about 142,000, 143,000 a year. Fortunately, this disease can be prevented.
There are a couple reasons why I decided to get a screening for a colonoscopy. My brother, when he was 18, had a bleeding polyp, and so it runs in our family. But I work in the recovery room, and I have recovered a lot of patients that have come in and they were bleeding or had other issues, and they find out that some of them do have colon cancer.
Majority of patients that develop colon cancer do not have any identifiable risk factors. Because we do know that majority of colon cancer starts from a benign precancerous lesions, which takes several years to become cancerous, which provides us unique opportunity to intervene and identifying these lesions and having them removed during colonoscopy so as to prevent colon cancer. This has been documented in several studies and observation as well, that removing polyps that are potentially precancerous does prevent colon cancer. Unfortunately though, it is estimated by about 40 to 42 million Americans who are eligible still have not been screened to date.
It was a relief in my mind and so well worth getting the colonoscopy, because now I know that I am clean and cancer-free with no polyps at this point. And I will come back in 5 years and have it done again just to make sure that there are no polyps or anything that can cause cancer. It really is, it saves your life. Early detection saves your life.
That'll do it. That'll wrap up another edition of the Best Docs Network, featuring Forest Park Medical Center, Southlake, and Fort Worth, the #1 medical center in the entire Tarrant County, and also your destination to better health. For more information about Forest Park Medical Center, head to the website, bestdocsnetwork.com, and click on that Forest Park Medical Center tab. And if you have a question or comment for us, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email, info@bestdocsnetwork.com. So long, everyone. We will see you next week.